Well, our next guest is a former professional basketball player who played most of his 15-year NBA career for everybody's Miami Heat. His tenacity on defense twice earned him the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award and placed him on the NBA All-Defensive Team. He made a comeback after undergoing a kidney transplant and later won his first NBA championship with the Heat. On March 30th, 2009, he became the first Miami Heat player to have his number retired. This morning, the Balancing Act is honored to welcome Mr. Alonzo Mourning, better known as Zoe, to his fans. Good to see you, Zoe.
Nice to see you too, Danielle.
Yeah, I'm calling you Mr., but we have a little bit of a relationship here.
Yeah,
we have known each other for many years, and and I've done Zoe Summer Groove, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I remember you asked me to introduce the comedians. I go out on stage, and I've never been nervous, but I was so nervous because comedians will crack on you.
Right.
They will crack on you in a minute. So,
especially a woman.
Especially a woman.
If you're not bringing it the right way.
So right.
They'll find something wrong.
But luckily I did bring it, but I was very nervous. Is there anything that makes Zoe nervous? What makes you nervous?
Well, now that I'm not playing basketball anymore, I'm retired from that. The one thing that always made me nervous was injuries. Because my body was my business, and I wanted to do everything I could to keep my body as strong as possible so I could compete at the highest level. So I was always afraid of just being injured because I always wanted to be on the court to help my team, and injuries kept me from doing that.
Our audience, they know about all your professional accomplishments on the court, but they really don't know a lot about what you do off the court in terms of giving back. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about that side of Alonzo Mourning with our viewers. In 1997, you established Alonzo Morning Charities to aid in the development of children and families living in at-risk situations, and since then have been able to raise more than, $7 million?
Yeah, a little over $7 million we raised. We're all products of a community. All of us are, and if it wasn't for other individuals in our lives, you would not be, I would not be in the position that I'm in today. So we're here because of somebody else's contributions. And I've been fortunate enough, to have a relationship with an amazing woman, my wife, Tracy Morning, who and we were able to establish this foundation, and we created this foundation, AM Charities, and our focus was to provide educational opportunities, because and I know, where would we be without knowledge? Where would we be without literacy skills? You can't survive in this world without being able to communicate accordingly. That's extremely important for us to plant those seeds in our children's lives at an early age, so they can establish those educational habits, and so they can aspire to explore higher learning, and I try to stress that importance to all the young people that we assist in the whole process through my wife's foundation, the Honey Shine Mentoring Program, which helps mentor young girls and inspire and enrich. Tell
me a little bit more about that. And I know that this is something that's near and dear to both you and Tracy, and it's a phenomenal organization because it really helps these young girls become women. And I think that's such an important thing, especially, Zoe, in this day and age when you see all these images on TV and all these images out there, and to have this organization, it's kind of saying, you don't have to zig, you can zag.
The Honey Shine Mentoring Program is just one component, one program under the umbrella of Alonzo Morning Charities. But the young women that benefit from my wife's program, her workshops and what have you, and for all the men that's watching, we wouldn't be here without a woman in our lives. A strong female presence in our life. We would not be here, without those female influences, So it's important for us to continue to try to provide all we can, not just for our young people, for our young women that are dealing with so many challenging issues currently, especially in this day and time. And with the social networking and what have you, and just how women are being portrayed and what have you, and so many good things needs to be enforced in these young women's lives, and that needs to be heard from other strong women. So my wife has all these volunteers from all over the community. I'm sure I think you've gone to a couple of workshops as well.
Yes.
Just being able to communicate to these young girls and provide all the information necessary for them to be successful and continue to take steps forward.
Stick around with us because we'll have more with Alonzo Mourning when we come back. Don't go away. All right, welcome back, everybody. More now with Alonzo Mourning, and you've heard him talk a lot about his philanthropic efforts. And I know that your big initiative right now is Sponsor a Student.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how amazing I think this is. Tell our viewers about it.
Well, Sponsor a Student was created to give the community an opportunity to get directly involved in a child's life by providing funding that will enable them to continue to take steps forward throughout their educational process. We have a program in the Overtown area, an area where about 3,000 kids are in the school system in this area. 2 out of 12 graduate from high school in this area. Our program, the Overtown Youth Center, was built by a local philanthropist by the name of Martin Margulies. We're at capacity with 275 kids, young girls and young boys. Mm-hmm. We address all the needs and all the obstacles and address all the deficiencies that a child may have that might keep a child from just walking through the doors of a school. Mm-hmm. And walking across that stage with a diploma in their hand. In the 8 years that we've been there, 100% of our kids graduate from high school coming out of that program, and 100% of our kids go off to college. We're very pleased with the outcomes.
If you live in South Florida, there is one thing that we look forward to every year, which is Zoe's Summer Brew. And it's a lot of fun, but again, it all centers on philanthropy. There's so much stuff going on, but you make it fun as well. There are a lot of celebrities that come out. I know that you've got, a lot of things for the kids. Tell our viewers about it. It's a 3-day event, right?
The Groove is a 3-day community event where we have, a concert, a dinner, a golf tournament, workshops for the kids, a youth summit, things of that nature. A community-based event where everybody in the community has an opportunity to come out, support an event, a charity event, and it has something for everybody in the family to enjoy and know that they're giving back to our community and know that they're helping young people, because all of the proceeds will go towards our efforts towards educating the kids at the Overtown Youth Center and at the Honeyshine Mentoring Program, So this weekend allows the community to come out, a festive weekend, enjoy themselves, have a good time, and know that their efforts are going towards a great cause.
That's amazing. One of the other things that's amazing is that, and certainly this is something that I'm really curious as to how you feel about this, because I know that there has been a high school in North Miami named after both you and your wife, based upon everything you all have done in the community. How does it feel to kind of see the fruits of your labor, Zoe, kind of come to fruition in this way?
The responsibilities are great, but the fruits and the benefits are magnificent. Knowing that our name bears the side of this school, and knowing that the individual that will be coming out of there will know that, hey, I came from Tracy and Alonzo Morning High School, and this is what I learned, and this is what I want to share with the world based on my experience there, and that's the one thing that we've tried to reinforce when we go and speak to those kids is, and my wife says this all the time, she says, follow your passion and you'll find your purpose. And then I always tell them that, you're put here to serve, not to be served. And all these kids have to understand that their education will give them an opportunity to serve others and make this world a better place than when you came into it.
Amazing philanthropist, amazing NBA player, amazing husband,
Thank you.
Amazing father. So when we come back, we want to talk to Zoe a little bit about that part of his life, so don't go away. We are back talking with Alonzo Mourning, and we've talked about so much stuff that you have going on, and I have to tell you, as you know, the name of our show is The Balancing Act. I have to ask you, so how in the world do you balance it all? Because you're married, you have 3 children, you're still involved in basketball, you've got all this philanthropy going on. I mean, tell me about the balance.
Yeah, well, my wife helps me balance it. All the things.
Tell me what you said. She said, what did she say?
Well, she always stresses balance, and she always talks about, oh, you play too much golf, you didn't balance your time. And I'm like, listen, I had to find something to kind of supplement the competitive nature of basketball. So now I found golf as the void, you know. So I try to find time to do that as well.
Was it hard?
A lot more time than she would want
You to do, but you know, was it hard though when you did leave basketball to kind of, because that's just competition at its highest level, and then
you know
to not have that.
When you've been playing the game for 30 years, and literally I've been playing the game for 30 years when I retired, you know, it's kind of difficult to kind of flip that switch and just turn it off immediately, you know. So it's kind of like taking a Ferrari and running at, you know, 1,000 miles per hour, and then snatching the key out. You know, you just can't do that. You know, you tear the car up. You know, so the one thing that I did was, you know, I made sure that obviously I prioritized the things that were most important in my life. You know, my kids, spending the time with them that I needed to spend the time with. You know, because playing the game of basketball, being the life of a professional athlete, negates your time from your family. It really does. And the kids are the true victims of it because you're on the road all the time, you know. So when we had our third child, which happened after retirement, so I had a little bit too much time. So, but he has been a blessing, truly. Elijah, he's 21 months, you know, and now I see what I missed in my first two children. You know, my first two kids, you know, I missed their first steps and their first words, and because I was on the road a lot of the times, you know. But being able to experience that, I mean, not saying that I appreciate the little one even more, you know, but, you know, I see what I missed, and I see, you know, what I was neglected of and missing out of my first two kids, you know. But it's given me an opportunity to spend more time with them as well. Also, I'm able to spend more time with building the foundation itself, you know. And the one thing I want to continue to do is try to grow the foundation.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking to me. This has just been so enlightening, and I'm just so proud of your wife's efforts and your efforts and everything that you're doing to help our children. Really such an important cause.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure to see you again.
Pleasure's all mine. Thanks for having me.
And for more information on Alonzo, or to learn more about any of the charities that he's involved in, we want you to check out the website. It's www.amcharities.org.